Welcome to Entertainment Extra on RemicTV.com with yours truly, Joe Crawford, and we've hit a baker's dozen, 13, lucky 13, and maybe you could be lucky in love if you watch this show, because we can tell you some great cyber dating tips with our guest, Julie Spira, who is going to be with us momentarily. You want to win $500? You can by going to RemicTV.com like you are now and invite all your friends to Remic TV, because the more friends you invite, the more chances you get of winning $500. And then our last month of the competition, or contest I should say, you can win $10,000. A lot of money to give around, a lot of love to give around, especially with this show here. A bathroom bulletin has been done. A study shows the average man spends 7 years of his life in the bathroom. The average wife spends probably 3 years of her life knocking on the bathroom door saying, "Are you done yet?" Paul McCartney says he's quit smoking pot. In other news, Mick Jagger announced he's quitting using oil of Olay face cream. Special guests who were staying at the Beverly Hilton Hotel on the day of Whitney Houston's death are now demanding a refund. They say because of commotion during that night, their stay became increasingly uncomfortable. The hotel had refused to make any refunds. And sad to say, the room that Whitney passed away in is now booked at the Beverly Hilton Hotel until the middle of next year. Unbelievable. If you want to, you can book a night, which won't be till next year, but night rate is going $300 a night. A lot of money. And our fact of the day. Fact of the day is that an ostrich's eye, you know the ostrich that buries his head in the ground? I can't even say the word. An ostrich's eye is bigger than its brain. Can you believe that? That's how small of a brain they have. Well, I know when I eat, sometimes my eyes are bigger than my stomach. Stick around, because we have Julie Spira joining us here on Entertainment Extra with Joe Crawford on RemicTV.com. Welcome back to Entertainment Extra with yours truly, Joe Crawford, here on RemicTV.com. And joining us in the studio is an online cyber dating expert. And I've talked to her before on my radio show, and now I have her here on my TV show. Please welcome Julie Spira. Julie, how are you?
Oh, great. Great to be here again, Joe. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much for coming on the show. Now, last week was Valentine's Day, first of all, so you must have been swamped.
Oh, I was swamped because everybody was looking for a last-minute date, and then, of course, people were tuning into the news, and they wanted to get as much advice as they possibly could on how to find love online.
All right. Now, talking about finding love online, this is probably with the era of the internet. This is probably the newest, well, not the newest thing, it's been around for a few years, but probably the hottest thing to do of finding the next date, no?
Absolutely, because what's happening is, you know, if you become single, all of a sudden your friends will fix you up maybe once, maybe twice, and then they go back to their couples world, and you're sort of left hanging. And so we're finding that singles of all ages are using online dating. As a matter of fact, the college market is really, really hot right now. You would think you'd meet lots of people without having to log onto your computer or your mobile phone for love in the college, but that's not the case.
Okay, so then, is there any specific, say, sites that maybe are better than others to use for finding love?
You know, it really depends, Joe, on what you're looking for. Some people are looking for a serious relationship. A lot of those people are members of eHarmony. I'm a big fan of eHarmony because they really focus on long-term relationships and marriage. To a certain degree, they're almost like a matrimonial site. And then there are people that really are only looking for, you know, that little hookup or just a date or just a friend.
Right.
So I think if you look at online dating as social dating, just like you do, you know, your social life is spent so much time on Facebook, then maybe you won't be so disappointed and you can just enjoy meeting lots of new people.
Now, Julie, with worldwide internet, and then that's what it is, worldwide, is it possible to find that next one? Like, say, pretend I live here in Canada, you're down in LA. I'm not in love with you. I'm just using this as an example, though. But I happen to take a liking with you, say, and meet with you. Is it possible that a long-distance relationship then, in that type of way, can work?
Absolutely. You know, I feature lots of success couples on my site on cyberdatingexpert.com, and we have a feature called the Cyber Love Story of the Week. And I have featured couples that have moved across the country, and there was a gentleman on JDate who said he couldn't meet anybody in Los Angeles, and he started communicating with Sophie, who lived in Paris.
Oh.
And Sophie came to Los Angeles, and they met, Sophie and Greg, and it was instant, and they developed a long-distance relationship. They visited each other back and forth a few times. They got engaged. They got married. She moved to Los Angeles. They have a baby. Come
on. That is amazing. Now, that's really, really something. Wow. And then how long have they, like, say, pretend that I'm not going to say that it's always an instant that you're going to find and get married to someone then online, but how long was their online relationship before they actually got engaged, say?
I think that they were communicating back and forth. Well, first of all, they met after about 6 weeks. They met right away. And I think one of the reasons their relationship was successful is they just didn't have a long-distance pen pal. They really decided that there was something there. They spoke on the phone. They communicated every day. And he got on an airplane to visit her, and they had a great time. And then she got on an airplane to visit him so they could see what each other's lives were like in their own cities.
Right.
And they both were looking for marriage and a family, and their values were in alignment. And she was willing to pick up and take her passport and move to Los Angeles. Wow,
that's amazing. Julie Spira, who we're speaking with, who is a cyber dating expert, and that is what her website is, cyberdatingexpert.com. And we're finding out here a little bit how maybe you can have some luck with some online love. But Julie, say for people who are maybe a little bit too shy to go and meet for the first time, like, okay, that couple that we just talked about there, they went and visited, but what are some good ideas or good tips on maybe meeting someone for the very first time that you've never met before, and you're going to meet them face to face? Because I believe it's very easier to talk online than it probably is to do it face-to-face, no?
You know, you're absolutely right, Joe. I mean, it's certainly, there are people that fall in love from behind their computer screen and their keyboard. And that's really sort of dangerous, because if the more information you give to somebody that you've never met about your personal life, your financial life, your hopes and dreams, your vulnerability, you don't know how sincere that other person is. So the most important thing you can do is really to not have just an online relationship and to meet in real life. And in order to be successful in meeting in real life, you need to sort of suck it up and be honest and tell your real age. Don't post your high school photos when you were 20 pounds or heavier, and be authentic, because these days people are checking your Facebook account to see if your photos match up.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they know you're lying. And if you're lying, you're just not starting off on a really good digital foot.
There you go. Julie Spira, you are the cyber dating expert, and you've written a book, and it was #1 for a very long time. It's called The Perils of Cyber Dating. Do you have a copy of your book that you can show?
I do have a copy of my book. It's a very, very cute book. My book, The Perils of Cyber Dating, was a memoir. It was a very interesting romantic journey of mine, because I was a very early adopter of the internet. I created my first profile 1994 at Love at AOL, before eHarmony, before Match.com started, during the days when, we're on Skype now, but in those days you didn't even have a high-speed internet connection. You had to dial up and listen to that awful modem screeching.
Yeah.
And there was no flat fee, and there was nothing free, and you had to pay per minute. So the cost to find love online, if you're really chatting away with somebody, could run into the hundreds of dollars.
Wow.
so my half times have changed.
I guess so. That's one big expensive first date I'm talking about that way. That's for sure. Now, Julie, I've got to tell you a little story about myself, a little online viewers who have watched our show, and I'd like to share this with you. And I happened to meet my girlfriend that now I'm seeing of about almost 2 months now online. We went to a website. I won't give the name of the online website. And we actually talked for a little bit. And for whatever reason, we added each other on Facebook, but then we stopped talking. I guess our lives just got busy with each other, and we just kind of went our own separate ways. So this past December, she brought her 2-year-old son, now 2-year-old son, was 1 at the time, to an event that I was at, and I was playing as Santa Claus. And she had that face like, oh, I think I know her from somewhere, but I'm not too sure. So then anyways, I looked her up on Facebook afterwards, kind of Facebook stalked her, unless you want to say, and messaged her and said, are you so-and-so, and were you at the event? And she's like, yeah, why? And I said, well, I was Santa Claus. So our little joke is that she caught Santa Claus's eye, and we've been dating ever since.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
That's very cute.
So you can add that to your blog if you want, little Santa Claus Christmas when it comes around. Now, your website, cyberdatingexpert.com. You have another website, which is rulesofnetiquette.com. And this is interesting because I never knew there had to be some, I guess there's rules with everything, but there's also rules of netiquette. What are some of the rules of netiquette for online dating?
Well, the rules of netiquette for online dating, we start with the Google rule. I mean, do you Google your dates before you go out with them?
I do search them. I do more so Facebook them, yes. But yeah, right, Google Facebook.
Right. So if you Google or Facebook somebody beforehand, we do it. We want to know who we're going out with. But the Google rule says, don't do it before a first date, and if you do, don't tell them. Because if you go on a date with someone and say, oh, wow, by the way, I Googled you, and I found 7 pages of Google entries, and I learned this, and I learned that, and I learned this, and I learned that, I mean, you're going to seem like a cyber-stalking, creepy guy. Yeah. So just keep your mouth shut if you end up Googling somebody before a date. You talked about Facebook. I tell my singles, do not request, after you put a date on the calendar with someone, do not do a Facebook friends request before the first date or after the first or second date, because you don't know what their relationship status is, and if they're dating multiple people, they're not going to want you to see what's on their wall if their arm is around another girl.
Okay.
And so that's a little stalky as well, so you need to sort of let your digital life catch up after your personal life, takes the lead.
Now, what is the proper, say, rule call or protocol that you said about that for a first date or second date? Don't add them on Skype or search them. But say pretend you go out for the first date, and like the old saying goes, don't call her after 3 or before 3 days after the first date or whatever. Is that rule still apply, or don't message her on Facebook after 3 or before 3 days after the first date? Does that rule still apply, or how does that work?
Well, I think that whole 3-day rule should just be tossed in the digital trash can.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. There's over 122 million people worldwide logging on for love every single month to different dating sites. And as a result, they're dating and they've got a pretty full inbox. So if you meet someone that you like and you go on a first date with them and you like them, text them when they get home. Hi, did you get home okay? Had a great time. Better that, when you're on the date, if you really think you want to put a second date on the calendar, ask that person out for a second date while you're on the first date. Because if you don't, she might meet someone else the next, by 3 days, she might have already forgotten you because she's met some other terrific people.
Right. So
don't let that great opportunity pass you by because you're playing little head games. They don't work anymore. We're in a very fast-paced society right now. So make your intentions known. If you like someone, say, I had a great time. What are you doing Friday night? Would you like to go to a play with me?
All right, that's simple then, I guess. Don't have to be too shy. Just be straightforward and ask right out then.
Exactly.
Julie Spira, you can follow Julie on Twitter, and your Twitter's at Julie Spira.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Yeah, and we'll spell it out, JuliEspira. So make sure you follow her there. And again, you can go to her website, cyberdatingexpert.com. and rulesofnetiquette.com. Now, Julie, say pretend someone is, because there are some people out there, maybe a little bit of the older generation, who are kind of skeptical about finding someone online because there could be some bad things that go with that. What's your advice to some of these skeptical people out there for doing that?
Well, and there are many of them, because when I coach singles, a lot of them say, oh, but I'm scared. What if I was a stalker? What if somebody wants to steal my money? A lot of people are nervous. And I think you really need to just use common sense and don't do things online that you wouldn't do or say offline. So if you're expecting a big inheritance, don't tell somebody that, that you just met online, because then maybe they will have ulterior motives. And I think it's important to practice really safe online dating tips, such as don't give out your last name, don't say where you live, don't even give out your home phone number. I tell singles to get a Google Voice account. It's free, google.com/voice, and create a phone number that's just unique for dating, and you can forward it to your mobile phone. It will transcribe the message, so you don't even have to answer the phone, and you can see, okay, Johnny called and he says hi and wants to go out on Tuesday. That's a lot better than giving out a number or letting somebody pick you up at home, because if the date goes bad, then they might end up on your doorstep.
And you don't want that to happen. Now, again, your book, The Perils of Cyber Dating, where can people buy that?
You can buy it on Amazon.com, you can buy it on BarnesandNoble.com, you can buy it on a lot of online stores, and also in Barnes & Noble.
And what is, I know we talked about one of your, the other success stories. What was one of your maybe favorite success stories that you've maybe featured on your website, cyberdatingexpert.com, of an online date or whatever? Let's kind of end off a little heartfelt warmth here.
Well, when the heart felt warm, this was a really sweet story. There was a girl in Florida, very beautiful, young, in her 20s, cute little perky blonde. Her name was Kelly, and she was on Facebook, and she decided to type her name, which was Kelly Hildebrand, not like an everyday name. It wasn't like,
Smith or whatever.
Jane Smith, right? Yeah. Not Jane Smith, Kelly Hildebrand. And she typed her name in a Facebook search out of curiosity, and up popped a cute guy that lived in Texas with the very same first and last name, and they even spelled it the same. Huh. So she emails him on Facebook and says, wow, this is cool, we have the same name. So he gets the email on Facebook and says, ooh, she's really cute. He goes, yeah, that is cool. So they started talking on Facebook, and then they got on the phone because they wanted to figure out if they were related. Because, again, it was a unique name. And they just connected. He got on a plane. He flew to Florida to meet her after maybe 3 or 4 weeks of emailing back and forth and talking on the phone, and it was love at first sight, and they did get married. They've been married for over 2 years now.
Oh my!
And so they changed their Facebook page to one Kelly Hildebrand, where they just had a photo of the two of them, and you never knew which Kelly it was. So they started calling themselves Kelly Girl and Kelly Boy.
Aww.
But they got married, and they met on Facebook because she typed in her name. I typed in my name because I wanted to see what would come up, and I found a defunct Cadbury candy bar called the Spira Candy Bar.
Well, I'm afraid then to see what happens when I type up my name. Then actually, I've Googled my name, and apparently there's a great famous basketball player named Joe Crawford. So that's the only connection I probably have with my name. Well,
anyway, that was a cute story, I thought.
That is a really cute story and a lovely story, and you can see a whole lot more stories like that on Julie's website, cyberdatingexpert.com. And Julie, I want to thank you very much for taking your time and joining us here on Entertainment Extra with me, Joe Crawford.
Thank you, Joe. Great to be here.
Nice to be with you, too. You take care. Stick around because we have your word of the day coming up on Entertainment Extra with Joe Crawford. I want to thank Julie Spira for being on the show and giving her great expertise of online dating. And if you're a little nervous, don't be, because you never know. If you're single, you just may find that special someone. And make sure you visit her website and follow her on Twitter Julie Spira, okay? And we'll love to have Julie on any time. Our word of the day is pachyderm. Pachyderm. I thought it'd be a great word to bring into this show because it's a noun and it means a person who is not sensitive to criticism or ridicule. You shouldn't be sensitive to criticism or ridicule, especially if you're going on a first date. For Entertainment Extra, I'm Joe Crawford.